Hey everybody, this is Willie the Butcher coming to you from Knoxville, Tennessee. And what we're going to do today is we're going to start and we're going to kind of just give you a little introduction into the whole tenderloin, how we can roast it, how we can cut it up if you want to cut it up and make steaks for your holiday dinner, or if you want to do like a beef Wellington, whatever you want to do. And so we're going to get right in, okay? So come on along and join me in this lovely adventure. So what we're doing right now is we're just kind of taking our fingers and we're wanting to kind of come through and just clean off this lovely chain muscle, okay? You can see right here, I don't really need a knife too much, but I'm just cleaning that off, right? So we get a nice little break from the actual tenderloin. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this over. And we're just going to kind of break this just right off right here. Then as we come down here, this part over here is what we call the heel or the head of the tenderloin. Okay, and we're just going to come right through and we're just going to slowly pull back some of this sinew and this fat and expose the lovely meat. So here we go. We've got the lovely chain taken off. Okay. And this is our chain meat right here. Just going to come through and continue to kind of clean this guy up a little bit. And again, we're just trying to come through and we just want to clean up all this excess fat, sinew, because again, the tenderloin's a really nice lean cut of meat. So we want to kind of keep that leanness. All the flavor and everything that we're going to see is all going to come from the intermuscular marbleization once we start cutting into the tenderloin. Okay? So again, right here, we just have some of this fat. I am scraping, and I can do that because on top here, we have this, what we call silver skin. Okay? And silver skin is a connective tissue, and we certainly don't want to eat it, okay? If anything, it could possibly be made into, as I like to joke, into dental floss. Lovely. To get all this last little bit of silver skin. Okay, so now we're going to flip this tenderloin over. We're going to kind of clean up a little bit of the back side here. Got a little bit of that tendon still running through the back side here. Just kind of cleaning that up a little bit. You can kind of see here, a lot of this is just kind of pulling off. For our lovely dinner and holiday dinner purposes, we have a beautifully fully trimmed up here, removed of the silver and anything that's undesirable. Okay, we now have a beautiful whole tenderloin. Okay, so depending on what we are going to want to do, and just an instructional aspect here, kind of want to go through kind of where the cuts come from on our tenderloin, okay? So as you can see here, it tails out, right? So this part right here, we're going to call the tail, okay? This is the tail. This is what we call the center cut, or the center Chateaubriand, you know? Everybody likes, this is what we want for like a beef Wellington. If we're, you know, taking it and stuffing it and rolling it up in some lovely puff pastry and then baking it. Okay, and then here we have the head. Okay, this piece we can remove, this heel part. Okay, we can remove this part off and we can take the beef Wellington even further. Okay, but what I like to keep these as my filet mignon. And then as we get down to this back end, we can still tie it up And we can cut these, and we can cut these into steaks, but I refer to these as tenderloin steaks, okay? Or butt end steaks, because this is the butt end of the tenderloin, okay? So for today's purpose, we're going to show you a couple different avenues and demonstrations on how to prep this lovely, beautiful tenderloin, okay? So first, if we're doing a roast, okay, we want to do a full tenderloin roast, one thing that we're going to do is we're going to come right here and we're just going to kind of slice right down through, but we're not going to cut all the way through. We're just going to kind of butterfly it, okay, leaving that still attached. You can see here, see, it's a nice cut, it's still attached, it's still together. And then what we would do is we come here and we take some lovely butcher's twine, okay? Go right underneath, come over, a little twisty. And we're just going to tie up this lovely tenderloin here, okay? So you can kind of see, and so forth, we would continue this all the way down the tenderloin if we're doing a whole tenderloin roast, okay? Now, the other thing that we can do as well is we can come here and we can just do a little bit. So you see now that tail, right, that we butterflied and tucked underneath, now it's all attached, right? So it's going to cook wonderfully even, okay? So if you're cooking this whole tenderloin and then you want to slice it, you know, for anywhere from 8 to 10 people, it's perfect, okay? Now, if you wanted to do a beef Wellington, right, you can continue to string tie, but you don't have to do it as tight or as, you know, close together, okay? One thing you could do is then once you get the tail tied up and attached, then you could do it a little bit wider down to, you know, the head or the butt, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this off, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to show you that right here we can just make a nice, beautiful cut, okay? And we're going to open this up. So I love this. This is beautiful. See all this lovely intermuscular marbleization here? That is what we want. That's what we're looking for when we buy a beautiful tenderloin roast. We're looking for all that good, beautiful marbleization and flavor. Okay? So what we would now do is we would take this lovely Chateaubriand or, you know, center cut tenderloin roast, and we would season it up. We would sear it off in the oven or in a pan, let it cool down, and then we can actually encrust it with some duxelle and then roll it up in puff pastry for a beautiful beef Wellington for your holiday dinner. Okay? Now, the other thing that we can do as well from this piece, we can also take and cut some beautiful fillets. I always like to use the two finger. The two finger is always going to get you about a 6 to 8 ounce fillet, okay? So if we do the two fingers, we make a little mark right there, right? And then we just cut right through there, right? And if you need to at home, you can always take that first cut, measure it again, so you know you're getting the exact same size. And we just cut right down through, and boom, here we go. Look at that. These are some gorgeous, beautiful 6 to 8 ounce prime fillets. And we still have roughly about 1.5 pounds Chateaubriand for making a beautiful beef Wellington. Okay? And so, for all purposes here, let's fancy it up just a hair. And we'll finish tying this guy off. And boom, there we go. Now, the other thing that we can do is now we have the butt tender, okay? We can string tie this, get it all nice and tight and bring it all up together, right? So we can have another nice, large, beautiful roast. We can also come here and we can cut in and we can take this heel off, right? And this heel will give us some nice, you know, stew meat or kebab meat, or even we can wind up getting about a nice, you know, 6 to 7 or 4 to 6 ounce, fillets. We can still get some nice centers, and then we can still cut this piece into some nice center cut fillets. It just all depends on what your needs are and what you're wanting to do for the holiday, and also it depends on how many people you got. Sometimes people are just having 2, sometimes they have 3, 4, 6, 8, and then sometimes people have that massive party and they got 20. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to go on ahead and kind of tie this guy up. And for me, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I like to come and just square that guy up, put that into my stew meat. And now again, here we go, beautiful holiday. We have a beautiful, lovely, tenderloin roast to roast up. Okay? All right. And then now, a lot of this, you can see here, right? We still got really nice meat, okay? And we've got a little bit of silver skin here, not too much. And some of that, we can just pull off here. In here, we're going to pick out some of these pieces that have some really good meat on it. Obviously here, this is all that silver skin. But again, I want to show you something. And I kind of did it on purpose to kind of take a little bit of meat here. So don't feel bad if you're new at doing this or whatever and you kind of make a little mistake. The thing that's really nice is that you don't have to lose this, right? You just take your knife and we just give it a little scrape. And there we go. See, we've got all that beautiful meat, and now that can just go right into the trash. Now, one thing that's great too is that if you are a hunter or you're someone that likes to make sausage at home or you got different things, all that wonderful fat is great because especially if you're a hunter, you're getting a deer or an elk or something like that. It's extremely lean meat. You're not going to have a whole lot of fat, so you need fat, right? You can seal it up in your food saver or whatever, and then you can pull it out and you can grind that up, and it's great for making game sausage. Okay? So you can see here, we got a lot of nice meat in here, right? And so you can see we've got beautiful meat here. Got a little bit of sinew fat, we'll get rid of that. And the other thing that's really nice though is this will make some really great stew meat. Now this we'll put into the trash here, but for the most part, we've gotten a wonderful utilization here. So we have some really good meat here that we can make into some stew meat. We'll take this last little bit of sinew here. All right. Wonderful. So that's all we got for you today with the tenderloin from Willy's Butcher Shop. And stay tuned because we got some more wonderful information coming up with Willy's Rib Roast.